Hello, everybody. I continue to be Sarah Johnson of the Joy Labs. Continue to be very happy that you're here for this, our last in the series on how to mental health. Today, we're going to be talking about building resilience. What is resilience? Let's start there. Resilience is our ability to adapt, cope, and thrive in spite of life throwing difficult things at us. Part of being resilient is going through the difficulty and learning how to adapt and be flexible, how to manage, how to respond, how to cope, and how to be okay in spite of it. There's lots of different kinds of resilience that we can talk about. So, personal resilience, community resilience. The more resilient all of us are, the more resilient our communities will be. Another connection to the importance of self-care and community care and how we can't separate those things. So, I want to give you an opportunity to reflect on resilience and pause, thinking about resilience as being adaptive, having good coping skills, thriving in spite of difficulties. Bring to mind somebody that you think of as resilient. Maybe this is somebody in your life currently, or maybe was in the past. Maybe it's a famous person or a fictional character, but bring that resilience role model to mind. Thinking about what ways are you similar to that resilience role model? Like, what is it about them that causes you to say they're resilient, and how are you like them? Finally, how could you be more like them? What might you try out? What maybe you can even ask them, like, how do you do it? So that you can learn and practice some of those same skills that they've used to build their resilience. How do we build resilience? Well, through connection in a number of ways to ourself, to community. This probably doesn't surprise you. You see both of those things show up here, and to coping skills. That probably doesn't surprise you either, given that this is the How to Mental Health series. So, when we think about connection to ourselves, what that means is really finding out who we are. That means what do we like? What are we good at? What's important to us? What do we want to do with our lives? What's our culture, our ancestry, our history? How do we figure out what we want to do? How do we figure out what we're good at? Trying new things out, figuring out what is that bigger purpose, what is the meaning of being here, what gives your life meaning and makes your life worth living, and exploring through physical activities. So again, how we treat our container helps us with those contents. There's lots of ways that can help connect us to a higher purpose, which is that sense of what gives my life meaning. Volunteering, trying different things out like that. Practicing spirituality or religion, that can look like a lot of different things for different people. And we've mentioned before, nature can be a really powerful thing. I think about one of my biggest moments of sense of connection was going to the Grand Canyon and just being in complete awe of the beauty and the enormity of it. It made me feel very tiny in a very big way. And it was a really beautiful thing. So, exploring nature can do that. Practicing with other people, giving back are ways to find that sense of purpose. When we think about community, we're really talking about those healthy relationships. That could also look like getting involved in different groups. Maybe you're on a sports team, maybe you're a part of an artist collective, maybe you're in a gaming group, right? So whatever, however you can connect with other people, and there's that thing about volunteering and giving back that's coming up here too. When we think about checking in with people, asking those questions to and listening to understand, those are that kind of that how are you conversation and meaning it that we were talking about earlier. And just being kind, right? Creating that sense of safety, being someone who is giving to others, is giving grace, is just being a good person, being a nice person. That's a really great way to connect with other people. People recognize that, they see that. Other ways are to, I've mentioned before, go offline for a little bit, just set them aside, do something together. So, if you're like, I'm not sure how to have a conversation, well, let's do an art project together, or let's try to tinker with this car motor. Clearly, I don't know how to do that. Is that what people say? Tinker with the car motor? So, doing an activity together, and of course, asking for and offering help when needed, as we've talked about before. Thinking about that sense of purpose, expressing gratitude, generosity, connecting with your roots, being mindful, all of those are ways that can get you connected both to community and to yourself and that sense of higher purpose. Coping skills, we've talked about coping skills and strategies throughout this series. So learning those skills, so being exposed to them, seeking them out, asking people how they do it, and then actually practicing and activating those skills. That get better at what we practice. So if we aren't practicing any healthy coping skills, we're probably not going to get much better at it. So practicing those, like I've talked about with you in this series, activating that learning into action. Of course, on the list, you're not surprised, asking for help when needed. That's such an important way to get connected to coping skills. Learning what those coping skills are, getting exposed to them, having the support that you need. Lots of ways to connect with those coping skills. So scheduling actual time to learn those skills. I actually block my calendar out for some learning days every month so that I can read some new things and learn some new things. And sometimes that includes new coping skills. Asking people that who are good, so your resilient role model, for example, like what do they do? How do they handle it? There's lots of great apps out there. Some of them are free, like Action for Happiness has lots of great strategies. Super colorful, super fun, super friendly. So finding an app that works for you to help you practice those skills and activate those skills when you need them. And this is another place where, maybe this is a good idea to get connected with a formal support who can help you learn and practice those skills. It can help you get steady on the way. Opportunity to reflect. What are examples of how you are already building resilience in yourself and others? So as you think about those connections to self, community, and coping skills, what are you already doing? And what are some opportunities that you see? Like you look at the list and, oh, there's a couple of things that I have never thought of or haven't tried. Giving you that opportunity to start thinking about how you're going to activate your learning. You will hear me say today, for the last time as in this series, ask for help when you need it. You know that there's those 24-hour resources, 7 days a week, people who want to help you. That is literally why they are there. They're waiting for your call. They care about you and they've got good training to be able to support you. And additional resources beyond those as well that are available to you. If you're interested in learning more about mental health community care and maybe finding some free skills to practice, go ahead and scan this baby. It'll take you to my resources and learning page. And if you scroll down that page, there's lots of opportunities. For example, the Gen Z talks about mental health. That's an hour-long discussion I got to have with members of Gen Z about mental health. And so they have some great tips and topics. I highly recommend taking a look at that because there's a lot of wisdom there. As you can see too, there's also some additional mindful self-care skills that you can practice on this page. Giving you that opportunity again, activating the learning, thinking about both what you want to take away from today's conversation as well as maybe the series overall, how you're doing on those steps. So have you made some progress in practicing some of these new skills or reactivating skills that you already had that maybe fell away for a while? And who can help you continue on this journey? Mental health comes and goes, and sometimes we're better at it than other days. So how can you really build in lots of practice of skills so they're available when you really need them? How can you build in those support systems that you really need so that you can really lean in when life gives you what it gives you. Sometimes it's not great. So being prepared for that means practicing and activating those skills. Oh, so here is my little metaphor for being resilient. And then here is Frankie, who was watching me do it and thought that that meant I should pet him. So he's asking for the love he needs. You should as well. I want to thank you, thank you, thank you for your time and attention in caring for yourself because that helps you care for others. And we need you. Thank you. I'm so grateful for you and for our time together. I hope you found these helpful. If you did, shoot me as a message. I would love to connect with you. And if you want more, let's do it. Let's figure out a way to do it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for taking care of yourself and for our communities. Have a good day, everybody.